All right. Good morning, guys. Welcome to the pre-market prep. I hope everyone's having an amazing morning. Hope you had a great day yesterday. Good morning, Peter. How are you doing today? Peter, can you
I
hear
see your
us?
lips moving. Yeah, there's no sound.
All right, Peter. Let's wait for Peter to get his sound going. All right, Peter, can you hear us now? All right,
Hey,
so
everybody.
all right, can you hear me as well? All right, so we'll wait for. Can you guys hear me in the room and on YouTube? If you guys can hear me, we'll get started, and then we'll give Peter a couple of minutes to get his sound going here. I hear you perfectly fine though. So you sound great on this end. All right, you guys can hear Peter as well. Okay, so it's just Peter cannot hear me. So Peter's
Uh-oh. I'm not sure.
that's
Can you guys hear me?
yes,
Norma's looking weird. You guys can hear me. I just can't hear anything.
that's right.
You
I don't know if
guys
he
can
can
hear
hear that.
Carlos and
I'm
Norma?
answering. He can't even hear me, but I'm answering anyway.
Sorry, guys.
All right, guys. So we'll
Why
let you
am I
figure
not
that out.
getting
In the
Carlos?
meantime,
Oh,
let's get going here. Let's look at what we had yesterday while Peter takes care of his audio there. Just an amazing day, guys, towards the downside. Let's start with MRNA. I mean, just look at the daily before I switch over to the 5 minute. The daily here just tells you what kind of day it was. Just an incredible pop for them, and they gave it all right back. It was an entire short the entire day. Let's look at our 5 minute here. If we zoom in right into this area, you can see it gave you a bit of a struggle. Let's get our pen out here. It really was not an easy trade right at the open. It really struggled big time to get going here. And you can see just how choppy this thing was right out of the gates, right in here. Eventually, this settled down and it became a beautiful short towards the downside. You can see the drops happening here. Once it lost the VWAP, lost the low of the day, and just became a beautiful short. Somewhat of support happening here around at 157, and then just continues to drop. Again, looks very easy now, but it was not an easy trade at all, guys. This was very difficult. The way this thing was moving was the pullbacks were too aggressive, so it was very difficult to hold on to a trade on MRNA, even if you were in the in the right, and this thing did work out for you. To hold through some of these pullbacks were a very little aggressive. Let's look at LI. LI was another one that also dropped down nicely. A lot of this stuff sold off yesterday. Besides BB and MU were the only two that really kind of did not sell off as much. But LI also took a beautiful drop here. Great, incredible open range breakdown. Hey, Peter, can you hear us now?
I can hear you fine. It was all my fault. Sorry about that.
Oh, no worries, no worries. All right, glad to have you. So with that said, good morning. I hope you're doing well today.
Fantastic. Thank you. Carlos, how are you doing?
Doing excellent, man. Doing excellent.
Good.
All right, so we're here talking about LI. So LI also a beautiful drop. Great opening range breakdown, the 5 minute, a bit of a deep pullback here towards the VWAP. But then after that, just look at the breakdown as well with some pretty good pops here. A lot cleaner than MRNA. I think MRNA out of all of these yesterday was really the one that it was a tough trade, just the way this thing was set up here. Even Neo also had a beautiful breakdown, guys. Sold off right in the first 5 minutes here. It does have a hard time breaking down, but eventually does break down nicely, as you can see here, right into some lows that we had here down to 45.37 towards the end of the day. It did hit that level that we had, but look how it hit some of the other levels we had on there as well. So Neo, nice short there. XPEV was also very clean, guys. Again, a lot of plays towards the downside yesterday on our main list here. BB was the only one that did sell down and recover nicely off this moving average, and then did become a beautiful long here. Nice breakout towards the high of the day, and then you got this beautiful ABCD pattern forming here. Then towards the later part of the day, this sell down again. So again, this thing kind of traded well on both sides, up and down yesterday. And MU really just took off here. I had a nice pop, and then just kind of slowly crawled its way up towards some highs here. Again, not incredible trading, as you didn't get great continuation right out of the gates, right? You had this one candle, had a beautiful pop there, but then after that, it really struggled to get going. So it would have been tough to hold on to this for about 30 minutes or so to actually get a decent move on MU there. So that is what we had yesterday. Peter, I
Well,
know you're coming
Carlos,
coming on.
we
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say we can't finish without mentioning my good buddy AMD, of
Well,
course.
that's exactly what I was going to come to you for.
Okay.
We have Mr. AMD on today, so let's look at AMD now. I did not look on how it traded yesterday, but it looked like there was some serious action here on AMD. So if you want to speak on it on what you saw yesterday, if you took a trade on this.
Yeah, AMD's had 2 days of very interesting movement. So yesterday we thought it was going to make a new all-time high. It didn't quite. It got close, but didn't quite make it. The morning was quite active, gave us some good moves, and for me, I thought it was some fairly well telegraphed moves. So there was good opportunity on it, but then in the afternoon, it just got ugly. There was a few stocks I was watching that just started to move sideways, and the price action was very ugly. AMD would be one of them. A lot of the large tech stocks started to look the same way. So I don't know what to expect for today, but it should be an interesting day as we have a lot of stuff moving. And so far, December's started with a bang.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. With that said, guys, that is what we had yesterday. We'll look at quickly what we have on the list today. Already, there's a lot on here on both sides, green and red this morning. A lot more on the downside. As you can see here, this list is just packed with every single thing that we've probably been looking at for the last couple of weeks and months here. So before we dive into this, let's look at the market pulse and kind of see what's going on there with the SPY. Where do we stand overall?
Yeah, so as you said, there's a lot of stuff moving for a bunch of different reasons. So let's take a quick peek. If you look at international markets, largely the international markets are down slightly across the board. So that would lead us to a slightly lower day, which we're seeing a small move down on the SPY so far this morning. We're also seeing tech on the Qs start a little bit lower. I don't expect to have, I'm actually sort of expecting today to be more of an inside day, meaning that we're going to have a small amount of movement moving within a range, but we'll see. I mean, every time I predict, I'm usually wrong because we get some big moves that come out of the blue. On the economic calendar, we do have a couple of things happening today. There are the ADP employment report, which should have been out a couple of minutes ago. Let me just refresh here, but I don't see the numbers yet. And then we have a second day of testimony happening with Mnuchin and Jerome Powell happening with the, I think it's the Senate Finance Committee. So I don't know if that's going to directly cause any movement. It really depends on, if they throw any unexpected comments in there that then get picked up by the media. So we'll see what happens. Keep in mind that testimony starts at 10 o'clock today. So that could lead to some volatility in the markets. We'll see what happens.
That sounds very good. All right, guys, let's get to our list today. We're not going to be able to get through everything because there is a lot here. But let's start with what's gapping up this morning. Let's remove what we have here. MRNA, I'm going to throw back up here because they are definitely in play today. They are dropping down pretty nice this morning. If you look at our 5 minute here, let's zoom in, and they already got some pretty good volume down 4.2 and 2 million shares traded so far. So again, very aggressive pre-market action. These guys were up about 5% this morning, starting the pre-market. Since then, they have really lost a lot, lost the previous day close here. And you can see how this thing is dropping this morning after such a bad day yesterday. Well, not entirely a bad day. You did gap up for most of this move, right? So yes, you sold down, but if you look at it in the bigger picture, it was a huge gap up, right? So you're kind of back to where the levels where you were trading at, but still the momentum is towards the downside right now. So definitely want to keep an eye on. Let's start with, since we started with gapping down, let's start there. Fuel cell, FCEL, this one is gapping down 23%, 5.1 million shares traded. Pre-market action is usually not great for this stock. But I do like what I'm seeing in the pre-market this morning. Some really, really good volume. And obviously, Peter, these guys are not doing well. It looks like something happened last night on here. Not sure if they had earnings or something, but some news definitely broke out.
There's a lot of companies that seem today to have announced secondary offerings, and Fuel Cell is one of them. So because of that secondary offering, it tends to dilute the balance of the value of their current float. And that's largely why we're seeing this turn down.
All right, so I generally do not like that type of news. I think this one might still trade well because it has been a stock that it's been very active and it's provided some good opportunities for members, but I don't like the way it trades, period. So I'm going to bring it down even more so with that type of catalyst this morning. Here's Workhorse. I see a lot of you guys early in the in the chat room mentioning Workhorse today. And so let's see what's going on there. They're taking a very nice hit, down 21%, 1.1 million shares traded. It looks like also last night, is this a secondary as well?
No,
Peter?
they had some big news. So the largest anticipated contract for them was with USPS, where they were going to be providing the new fleet of trucks. And USPS delays issuing that contract, which is why we're seeing Workhorse down today. So the bad news just keeps on coming for Workhorse.
Yeah, no, this is definitely good for us here. So we'll keep an eye on this one right now. 1.1 million pre-market is looking decent. Hopefully it can get better. But we got some great volume out of Workhorse this morning. Let's take a look at Solo. Solo also down today after a couple of red days here back to back. They're really tanking this morning, down 12.6, 663. I do like the action I'm getting here. Unfortunately, I do not have shares for short with Interactive Brokers at the moment, but still worth putting as a possible. We're getting a lot of activity here. Hopefully, if we get some kind of bounce here, this could be good. If not, we'll just keep it as a possible for now. But they're definitely taking a big hit this morning as well. PLTR and Peter, cut in if you have any major news on any of these. Just cut right in and let me know.
Sure. On Solo, I think investors finally looked up the company and realized their cars look goofy. No, I didn't see any
I would have
news on
believed you
Solo.
100% on that.
I actually don't. I didn't see any news on it, but I think it's because we're seeing a general downturn in this industry. So as we know, and you already mentioned, Neo's been pulling down. We're seeing a lot of these companies, LI, XPEV, they're all moving down. I think Solo's just getting caught in the tide.
Yeah, makes perfect sense. And just mentioning those, looking at Neo and at LI, they're both definitely in play this morning. Neo's looking just amazing. 10 million shares right now, down 9%. Yeah, Neo's definitely in place. So we're going to add this here. I'm going to keep Solo towards the bottom because we do not have shares for short on that one. But Neo, and we just mentioned LI, also have great volume. Both dropping nicely. We're going to keep LI on deck here as well. Maybe we'll keep only one of these in our main list, but definitely they're both looking pretty good for a drop this morning. Heading down here, LU do not like the pre-market action here. Definitely do not like the daily on this. It is not a low flow stock, but if you look at the daily, it's a recent IPO, and it just doesn't move very well on the daily. And the pre-market, actually, you know what? From here on, from 8 o'clock on, it is starting to get a little bit better. So maybe a possible. We do have opportunities to short this. We do have shares for short on it as well. We just don't have a whole lot of history or great daily on it. So let's keep it there for now. Might not even stay on our possibles list. AYRO also down 10% this morning, 244,000. Another stock that we looked at quite a bit in the past, guys. This stock just does not trade very well. It gets some crazy spikes with some volume like it did a couple of days ago here, but for the most part, it's very, very light on volume. I don't expect anything great out of it, so I'm going to move on to QS, which is another one that you really have to be careful with. It is not a low flow stock. It's not like a 3.2, but it is 17 million shares flow, so it's very low, down 10% this morning, only 220. And again, the spread on this, even when it had volume a couple of days ago, was still pretty bad. So I'm not going to be taking that type of risk on a stock like this one at that sitting also on the low flow side, on the lower flow side of things. SBE right now, pre-market. So we are getting a nice little base here around 26.20. The daily does look interesting. Maybe a possible on this one. I do like the daily. We lost a lot of support here coming back down. The last 3 days have been pretty bad for them. And again, they had a nice run up late in November, and maybe the fun could be over here. This thing is slamming down. Oh, we do not have shares for short though. So that right there kind of kills the party a little bit. Put it as a possible for now, but most likely going to come off that list. All right, I'm going to stop here on the gapping down list because it is, as you can see, enormous. If you guys have anything on the short side, or Peter, if you have something you want to look at, we can do that. Or else I'm going to go over to.
Well, there is one that we sort of bounced off because I distracted you there. PLTR, you started to look at. They've been obviously moving quite a bit the last few days. You can see they sort of a short-term downtrend from the highs that they had set. They got a big downgrade this morning. Now, normally I don't like to trade upgrade or downgrade news, but this one, it's the only news I can find, and it seems to be affecting them a lot. I mean, it's Morgan Stanley, which would be one of the largest houses that follows them. So the fact that they gave them a pretty big downgrade and a price target of $17 seems to be having sort of that negative effect on their stock.
Right, it sure is down nicely right now, 13%, 5.6 million. Their daily looks great too. Coming up against, hopefully, we have a nice level here that we can, be coming up against. We do have shares for sure. Great pre-market action, definitely on our list. Already, guys, we have a pretty nice watch list so far. So it's crazy how some days, you're struggling to get one or two up here that look great. At the moment, all of these are just looking excellent this morning, except MRNA. MRNA is a very tough stock to trade. So even though I have it here, if I find something better that's less likely to chop around, we could definitely change that one. So I know it's a lot more here on the gapping down list, but I want to save some time, look at what's gapping up, and then give you guys some time to throw some tickers at us here. COGT not looking good at all. Horrible daily. Just look how choppy this thing is. Every candle overlapping the previous candle. You're just not getting nothing great out of this daily. So this is what we consider a really, really bad daily. And what you're going to see here, if you look down, the volume has a lot to do with this. 2.9 is the most they traded in the span of 4 months here. So that's not going to give you a great pre-market action, and a great daily action, and you're not going to see a great pre-market action on this one either. Heading down to ACB, they have 1.9 this morning with a pretty bad pre-market action right now. So I'm not seeing anything great on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's handle a couple of these. So COGT was it's actually a secondary offering. So they just upsized it. They previously announced it. They just increased it from 60 to 100 million. It's also a low float, so lots of reasons in my mind to avoid it. But back to ACB, we're seeing some industry movement. I think it's led by TLRY. TLRY just announced that they're working with the the German government for medicinal marijuana, and that seems to be getting the industry excited. So TLRY, if you look, they've got large share size this morning, 1.6 million traded already, and it seems to be moving the whole industry up. ACB is long been they seem to be getting more coverage by analysts and saying they're probably one of the best buys out there if you're looking to invest in this sector. So let's see what happens today, but I expect ACB, TLRY, TLRY, and CGC all to be on the move.
Yeah, I had great information there. I do not see CGC on the list, but that's the one I like the most, to be honest. I think it's probably one of the cleanest trading ones in the past. And again, we haven't traded this in a while because they haven't been all that great. They've been hit or miss, but this is good news. So what I'll do is let's look at ACB, TLRY, which one has the best pre-market activity? Well, I would never trade TLRY after this done in the past. I mean, this stock is just, you can't trust it after what we've seen. Was it a year ago or was it 2 years ago? I mean, how long ago was that? You start forgetting.
Yeah, it was a while ago.
It was a while ago. You just can't forget how the madness was, right? I mean, it's just I never seen anything like that. So things like this kind of get engraved into your brain. This was 2018. I mean, I remember seeing this live in the chat room with you guys, and it was just insane. This thing hit almost $300, and in a matter of some whatever, it just drops down. So insane. Now I gotta say though, if you look at this daily, it has been trading a lot better. I'll give it that. It has been trading a whole lot better. But I'm going to hold that grudge. Yes, I'm not going to look at that one. We'll look at ACB. And I didn't even lose money on that. I shouldn't be having a grudge on that stock, but it is what it is. All right.
Didn't you and I trade that? I seem to remember
that?
you and I trading that. Didn't you and I trade that one afternoon? I seem to recall this. Or was that maybe beyond?
No, I definitely did not touch that.
I just remember it was you surprised me by jumping into the room, and we were both trading something up through $80, whatever it was.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember if it was that one, but man, I'd be surprised if it was. So ACB will be for me now. And even right now, it's not looking all that great, but I agree with you with the volume. It's a lot of volume coming in here, but it's still not creating a great pre-market action on it. So, but we'll keep an eye on it. BNTX is horrible, guys. We usually do not watch this one. Doesn't trade very well. It does trade better than PFE. I've seen some of you guys already throwing that one out there. The issue with both of these tickers, they are not great intraday trading stocks. They have a lot of news behind it. They get a lot of volume. They're definitely in play, but for intraday trades, for the most part, they're hit or miss, and they're just not great. So we'll keep BNTX on here. I know that we'll keep it as a possible. It does have a decent pre-market activity. Let's see. Today maybe could be the difference maker as far as trading well during the intraday.
And PFE and BNTX are linked because they're both sort of in the running, if you will, to provide vaccines, and they're partnered in the UK. And the news out of the UK is, of course, they're ramping up like most countries to try and get that vaccine to distribution. So we'll see what happens. BNTX is likely to be the bigger mover because it's the smaller company. But PFE and mRNA, I have to admit, have been confusing me the last few days. mRNA also, they're curing COVID, for God's sake, and yet look what the stock is doing. So, and PFE is such a massive company that even if they were to provide all the vaccine on the planet, it's only a small part of their overall business. So, be careful when you're trading PFE. I've only had challenges trying to get good trades out of it.
Yeah, I agree 100% on that. Actually, I don't think I ever tried. PFE, I have traded before in the past. I think there was one time it was very active. We did trade that, but BNTX, I don't think I ever have touched. All right, guys, we have a pretty good list so far. I'm excited about today already. Let's get to our chat room, see what we have here. We'll start with, what do we have here? Kyle is bringing out work. Let's see what's happening there. I know this one's been, that talks about a lot of movement over the last couple of days. And again, just consolidating here after a huge pop last week. So not doing a whole lot right now. It is interesting to keep an eye on. I think this thing hopefully will break out one way or the other. But again, pre-market's not looking great. Daily's looking good, though. You do have this beautiful consolidation happening here between 42 and 44. Which has got to give us a little bit of time to decide what it wants to do here going forward. So I will put it to the side for now. I'm not going to add it there. Let's look at a PLTR. Yes, PLTR we do have on deck here. It is on short selling restriction at the. I'm sorry. No, it's not on short selling restriction. So it is. Just, you have shorts for available shorts, but it's not on a SSR. So. That is good. You can trade that. And one question that someone mentioned before. This just reminded me of it. SSR is not based on broker, guys. So, for example, if I'm with Interactive Brokers and you're with CMEG or any other broker out there, if it's on SSR, it's an SSR for all of us. It's not dependent on the actual broker. Inventory availability is. So, for example, I can have inventory available for shorts with Interactive Brokers, and you might not be able to have it with Thinkorswim or something, right? So that is depending on brokers, but not the actual short selling restriction. That is done by the exchange. Okay. All right. So let's head on down. Who do we have here? So PLTR is good, guys. We have that one on deck. I lost my spot here. Work we looked at. OTC is giving us a few here. Let's try some of these. NAOV. Right now, NAOV, this is actually going nicely. This is a penny stock, though, so most likely I'm not going to be looking at this one. So just be mindful of that. The volume is insane, 23 million shares, up 121%. But again, these stocks are trading under $1. I usually do not focus on. CATB. It's another one. This is again also on that lower price. A stock going on there, but I definitely like the first one better. This CATB, again, this initial pop looks like the fun might be over for some time now. It's coming back down here. What you want to see on these type of lower price stocks, you want to see what you're seeing in NAOV, right? You're seeing ABCD patterns after ABCD patterns. I'm not sure if this is a low flow stock, but this is what you want to see on low flow stocks as well. You want to see great volume. Yeah, 10 million shares float. You want to see great volume. And also you want to see kind of these ABCD patterns forming. Usually when you get this huge pop right at the open, for the most part, not always, and it starts selling down, they do not become a great trade after that. Kind of just drips down there until it finds another area of support. CRM, I see a lot of people throwing this one out. They had a bad earnings forecast. So they are taking a nice big dive this morning. Definitely in play. Down 6% right now, 907,000. I'm going to add it as a possible. And the only reason for that is because if it was a better trading stock, I would. But this stock is very, very difficult to trade. So that's the only reason why I'm adding it on here. Today can provide you some opportunities because you do have some good volume on it. And, obviously you have a horrible earnings, looks like. Was this last night or this morning?
No, so this is an acquisition, which is why it's down. So they're buying Slack work. So a $27.7 billion deal. So it's a big deal, and they're usually that means the acquiring a company usually goes down, which is what we're seeing in CRM. And if you look at work, it's got volume, but it's moving sideways as you would expect now that it's sort of under acquisition. So those two are linked today.
Yeah, pretty big hit though, just for it to be just that, right? I mean, this thing is really taking a dive here
Yeah, it's a
this
big
morning.
acquisition for it. So I assume this means that people are a little concerned about the price they're paying because it's going to
Hmm.
be a big company, or at least a big cost for Salesforce to try and absorb.
Yeah. Let's take a look at American Airlines this morning. We'll look at some other airlines as well. At the moment, they're pretty flat right now. They have volume. Their pre-market actions kind of going sideways for the last couple of minutes. So I don't like what I'm seeing there. I do like their daily though. If you look at their daily, we're hitting against this area of support. We're slightly below that previous day close, which we have been holding for some time. This has been also an area of great resistance for American Airlines. Just look at the lines here. Look at the wicks hitting that. So if we lose that, are we heading back down to where it's been trading, the range that has been trading for the last couple of months, right? Right between this 1350 and this 1275. So that could be interesting. Let's take a look at some other ones like United, not doing a whole lot this morning, very light on the volume. I think I saw some people mentioning JetBlue. What was JetBlue ticker? JBLU. Yeah, so a couple of
GBLU, yeah.
yeah, throwing that one out. This one looks good. This one is nice. Down 7%, 1.6. I definitely like JetBlue this morning. And normally that's not the one that we look at. We look at American or United. Even Delta at times has a great pre-market action. I'll put American as a possible, but JetBlue's definitely's got the better pre-market action and a nice drop this morning there. So I'm gonna keep that one on deck. BP is a foreign stock, so we won't watch that one. It's not a great intraday trading stock. This morning they look a little bit better than most days, but again, it doesn't trade very well at all. So JetBlue we have JetBlue secondary offering. No, I doubt that. Is that the case? I don't think so. For
Let's see.
JetBlue, could be, but
They might need to raise money, so it's possible. It's true. They do have
yeah.
a secondary offering.
Oh
So
wow, I thought that they were past that, but yeah, look at that. So, I think even with that type of news, you could get some good opportunities on this, guys. Just because the overall airlines is just has been crazy, obviously, as you know. So I think JetBlue definitely worth keeping on deck here. All right, we do have PLTRs on there. Plug. Let's take a look at that one. Oh, how are we doing? We are 901, so running a little behind here. Plug. I like Plug. I'm gonna add Plug here, and this will be the last one I do, guys. I want to give some time for us to get through certain things here. But Plug looks good, down 6.7 this morning. Go ahead, Peter.
couple of quick ones I wanted to
Yeah.
mention for you, just for people's awareness. NTAP doesn't always trade well, but they had earnings last night. We saw some post-action movement this morning. It looks terrible. There's really not much
Hmm.
happening, but it might start to move after the open. And Space, SPCE, so this is Virgin Galactic. They just announced that they're going to do a powered flight out of New Mexico. We saw some movement on SPCE yesterday, and we might get some movement. I anticipate movement again today. And the last, just to keep you guys amused, you might want to keep an eye on MCD today, because for the first time in over a decade, they're going to be launching the McRib in over 10,000 restaurants starting today. So there you go. So the McRib may move McDonald's.
We will definitely put that on there. Pretty quiet right now, but it'll be worth watching. All right, guys. So that's what we have. We have a very exciting start already to our pre-market. I mean, there's a lot on here. Our main list looking very good. We just added a few JetBlue, ACB, and PLTR. But just right there, you have a really a great list already. So let's get to our community announcements. We'll come back and fine tune this list after that.
All right, everybody. Well, as always, we have our series of webinars for all of our lifetime members, and we invite you to join those because they're always very useful to see live, and you can ask questions and actively participate. Last night, John gave us his webinar on quantitatively measuring strategies, and it was a great session to help you understand how you can leverage your strategies and quantitatively measure the outcomes and results. Next week, Eamon will be joining us to talk about how to trade the ABCD pattern. Everybody talks about it, but it's good to get some sort of hands-on, first-person information about how you can trade it. Keep in mind, that one's going to be earlier than normal, so that will be at 5 o'clock next Tuesday, December the 8th. So join us then for Eamon's webinar. And then on Wednesdays, we have our psychology webinar series. So on Wednesday, we'll be joined, so that's tonight, we'll be joined at 8 o'clock, usual time, by Dr. Kenneth Reed. Dr. Reed will be joining us and talking about trend following. Now, he's a trader as well as a psychologist, and his sessions are always extremely informative. So when he's going to talk about trend following, how to make it your friend and how to leverage it, he's going to be tackling it more from the psychology point of view. How do you manage that sort of mentally and psychologically rather than the technical aspect? But I expect it to be an exciting and informative session. And then next week, our good friend Credo will be joining us all the way from Portugal. And because of that, again, it's an earlier time. So next week's sessions are both at earlier times. This one's at 5 o'clock on Wednesday, the 9th of December. We're going to be talking about the art of setting goals. So how you can set goals that will increase your motivation, confidence, and performance. So hopefully as a lifetime member, you'll join us. And if you're not a lifetime member, consider joining so you can take advantage of those sessions. The other thing that we do is we also celebrate those that have fantastic trades in the room. So if you're a member, you have the opportunity to win the member trade of the day. All you have to do is submit your trade to us on Twitter. Send it to Mike and Norm using the the tags at Bearable Traders, at Mike B_BBT, and at Norm BBT. And then you use the hashtags BBT Family, hashtag day trading, hashtag stock market. We ask you to do that because we get a lot of people just posting their trades saying, hey, I was really happy with this. But if you actually want to be considered for the member trade of the day, then follow that protocol and we will pick it up and we will vote on the best one. The member trade of the day then gets the opportunity to become the member trade of the week. And we will announce that at the end of each week. It's actually on Mondays for the start of the next week. But at the end of the day, for each day, we'll announce the member trade of the day on the closing show with myself, Mike, and Brian. So hopefully you'll join us there. And like I mentioned, hopefully you'll consider being a member. We love having new members. In fact, yesterday we were talking to a bunch of our new members that were in the room, and it's great to see the new people that join us every week to take advantage of the community and the help that everybody provides. This is much bigger than just us as moderators and all of the great education and resources we provide. It's more about those in the room that are here to help you and that are available every day to help provide call-outs on stocks, information when you need it. I can't find something, I guarantee you there's 10 people jumping up and helping you identify where that information can be held. So consider joining us. If you want to try it out, try it using the code PREMARKET24 for a 1-week trial for $24. It's a great deal. You can't beat it. And we guarantee you'll get value out of it. And then if you'd like to join as a lifetime member on our one-time membership promo, you can get 40% off that cost by using the code Black Friday 40. So Black Friday 40 will get you 40% off the one-time payment membership options. Hopefully we'll see you here in the room soon. And if you're out there on YouTube watching, give us a thumbs up if you like what you're seeing. And we always want your feedback. Feel free to provide that feedback to any one of us. So I'm sitting in for Norm. You can feel free to reach out to Norm using norm@bearabletraders.com, or myself. My name's Peter at bearabletraders.com, or even Carlos. So just any one of our first names at Bearable Traders. We'd love to hear from you, get your feedback so we can make this pre-market show and our room better every day.
All right. Thank you, Peter. Appreciate that. All right, guys, let's get to it. Let's look at what we have on deck right now. Just kind of scan on what we have on our main list, which I think it might just stay just like that. Right now we have MRNA looks good. Workhorse looks good as well. Starting to come a little bit more alive here, getting some good action, some good volume. Again, love this drop on the daily today as well. Here is NEO. NEO continues to just plummet here. I mean, wow, this is insane. Down 11.6 this morning. LI is following suit as well. Down here, nice 11% at also 5.1 million. So those two are really in play. Both we do have shares for short. NEO does have a short selling restriction on it, but still looking really good this morning. PLTR getting a little bit of a bounce, but that's active as well. 7 million on that one. ACB starting to come alive as well here. Nice drop at the moment. So we're getting some movement there. And also JetBlue down 7% as well. So again, we got a pretty dynamite list this morning. Let's take a look at our possible, see if anything is popping up that we should consider. I think plug might be one that we might do some levels on. So we're gonna come back to that one. Just have it ready. I'm not going to move it up because we don't have that much space. But you know what we can do here? mRNA is a very difficult stock to trade. We might keep like a plug instead of mRNA. We'll do levels for it, but we might not keep mRNA because it's just so difficult to trade. NTAP is not good right now, but hopefully that can get going. American Airlines starting to move here towards the downside. CRM continues to plummet. Again, another stock that's not that easy to trade, but definitely in play today. So again, we got some pretty decent ones even on the possibles list this morning. So all right, let's take a look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Way too many. Let's bring this down to 6. So we'll do levels for mRNA, but I am going to move it down now just to know I'm not going to keep that one. So we'll get rid of mRNA there. We have Workhorse. Neo is good. LI, PLTR, ACB is decent. JetBlue is okay. Might move down to a possible, and we have plug. So yeah, I'm going to move JetBlue down as well, guys. I think it's good, but it's not great compared to what we have up here. So let's move that one down. I think now we have a really nice tight list here. All right, let's start with Workhorse. As far as pre-market action, looking good right now. High of the pre-market at the moment, we are at 2068. We tested that a couple of times here. Nice rejections off of that. Above that, if we were to climb out of this down day we're having here, 2267 is a great area of support right in here. So you can see that there, a couple of days bouncing off of that. Some great support happening there, and a little bit of resistance a couple of weeks back here in November. So not by much, but a little bit there. 2267 is going to be an important level. Within that, this is a big move, by the way. The stock is sitting at $19. So this is a big move, right? You want to have something in between here. And if you look closely, you do have a great level around 2158. If you look at it there, you have some good support happening here. Another day opening, opening at that. Opening there. Some more support happening here. So you got a couple of touches. I don't think it's a major level like this one. This 2267. If you look at this one, you can see how much touches this one have, and aside from touches, how many change in direction, right? So look at it there, change in direction, and just a little bit of a bounce here as well. So again, that right there tells me that this is a major level for this stock on this daily, right? So towards the bottom right now, the price is actually sitting right slightly above an area of support and resistance. This 2019 was at 51 or so. The actual price is blocking it. But you can see if you draw a line right on there, you got support right on there. Then over here, you have major resistance before we actually break out of this. So, again, resistance here, a couple of days. Had a tough time getting above that 1951. Eventually, that becomes support, and then you have a nice blast off there. Towards the bottom, low of the pre-market, 1798, and then below that, another great area of support here, 1658. At the moment, we're just kind of midpoint between the highs and lows right now. So let's see which way this thing is going to decide to move. And this one actually is probably the worst looking one out of the rest that are going to come up now, right? So if you look at Neo, pre-market action is just insane, very extended towards the downside right now. At the moment, if we look at our daily, let's get some levels off of this. We do have a level right over here above our price action, 4268. You can see several days bouncing off of that there. And then towards the bottom, our slightly above our price action, we do have 4059. So 4059, tons of support happening there. I'm not going to mark down the pre-market low right now because I think this is probably going to keep going. So the next level I will see below the price action is going to be probably 3824. You got a lot of support happening here, prior resistance as well, before we had the nice breakout and a new level of consolidation happening there before, again, breaking out again towards that 54. So I'm going to mark that there. Let's see if this is going to become a new pre-market low. We'll come back to it. We'll see if we're going to get some kind of relief from this drop that we're getting now, down almost 11.5 on it. Here's LI. Let's remove some of these levels we had in the past. So LI as well, dropping down nicely, slightly below the price action. You do have a level of support here over on the daily, 3116, which is again a couple of cents away from our pre-market low this morning, which is at 30.95. So here you're kind of getting a little bit of a pullback. Let's see if that's going to do any change in direction. Also extended towards the downside, down a 9.2 this morning. Below that level, we do have 2857. Great area of resistance here. Below that, we do have another area of resistance as well, and then support at 2638. So some pretty good levels towards the bottom there. Slightly below, between the low of the pre-market and the 28.57, you do have this one day sticking out the wick over here at 30.19. So worth putting on there. I don't think you don't have a lot of touches unless you go into this day and see some kind of great resistance or support on an LI on going back on 11.12. But for the most part, I think that could be a minor area of support if this thing does decide to break down further. Towards the top, you do have another level here at 32.73. Again, off this same of the day before. Not a whole lot of touches there, but not, and above that, you do have the highs and lows from the last 2 trading days and the previous day close line, which is going to be an area of great resistance, if possibly as it was great support in the past, as you can see here. A couple of days bouncing off of that previous day close nicely. So again, great pre-market action. NEO does look slightly better with a lot more volume, down a little bit more. But both of these are definitely in play this morning. Their spread LI has about 6 cents, so not too bad. And NEO's a lot tighter, looking at 1 cent, maybe 3 cents, the most I've seen there. So NEO has a very nice spread there, very tight at the moment. PLTR, let's take a look here. Let's remove some of these levels. We're getting a bit of a nice bounce of 22.08. So we'll throw that there. Towards the bottom, another great level of support, 20.71. And then below that, we do have a great area of resistance around 19.30. So a couple of levels towards the bottom here. If we do decide to break down further, here on the daily, we do have a day slightly below the highs and lows from the last 2 trading days, 23.68. We can mark that there. Then above that, the highs and lows from the last 2 trading days and the previous day close pretty much got you covered there. Let's look at ACB. So ACB right now, high of the pre-market 1080. So we'll mark that there. Above that, we don't have a great daily. So it's not great levels here. You don't have a lot of touches. So I'm just going to mark down the opening of this day here at 1128. And then above that, you have the highs from the last 2 trading days pretty much are set for you there. But again, at least this one is on here. We have a couple of touches here without looking at the intraday of this ACB stock here, this daily. We do have one here, and we also have around here. This thing also closed up after it gapped up nicely. This sell down and found somewhat of a previous day close at this day around that 1128. Towards the bottom right now, we have the previous day close. Highs from the last 2 trading days are pretty much doing the job there for you. If we were to lose that and sell down, again, this daily, this is a great level here. Obviously, you got tons of touches here. You got support, resistance, a little bit of support here also. Nice bounce back. In between here, you don't really have a whole lot. The best one I see is going to be this one here in 898. And that's because you got a couple of days opening and closing right around that area. So again, that'll be a minor of support resistance if that is the case, or if this thing drops. But for the most part, the big level here is 822 off the daily. I don't see anything that's sticking out heavily in here. But again, you can do a little more research, go into these days here and see if the intraday is showing you any signs of additional support than what you're getting here on the daily right now. Here's Plug. Plug has a nice drop this morning. We'll mark the low over at 22.56 at the moment. Below that, we do have another level here down at 22.03. And just in case this thing does drop, another great level here at 20.36 as well. Towards the top, guys, highs and lows from the last 2 trading days pretty much wrapping around the low of the pre-market right now. The high of the pre-market, previous day close also in here as well. So again, you got some pretty good levels for Plug. Pre-market action starting to get a little bit better as you're getting more volume, right? So notice how the candles now are becoming a little more wider. That's what you want to see. Here, the volume is a little spread out, so you got these small candles, some of them not even doing anything. But now you're starting to get a very nice pre-market action after it looks like 8:45 or so. So that looks good. All right, so that's what we have. I want to fine tune our secondary list even further. JetBlue is okay. MRNA, let's do some levels for MRNA. But I think this one could be active. It's just a difficult stock to trade. Low of the pre-market 136.62. Towards the top, highs and lows from the last 2 trading days. Your high of the pre-market at 151.47. So you're pretty much set there. Again, great pre-market action. These guys were up nicely today, about 5%, and are now down 3%. NTAP, I'm going to remove for now. We look for that one in our scanners. American Airlines, I'm going to keep here. It's not doing a whole lot at the moment. It's got great volume, but I would love this if it loses this level of support here. It could be a fun one towards the bottom. So let's see how the market is going to play out today. These type of stocks tend to move well when the market is moving in one direction, up or down, and especially down today because they've been up for some time here. And I'm sure they will there'll be some pressure if they start selling down to go down a little bit faster there. So let's see if that happens. 1357 is a good one there. Salesforce, CRM, again, another difficult stock to trace, but we'll keep it on here. They are in place. Solo, I'm gonna remove Solo. Oh, we do have shares for sure on Solo now. We didn't before. It might not be a lot though. Let me see. Let's double click on here. Where's our little thing? Here it is. Actually 550,000. It's not too bad. It's not too bad, but you know, we'll see. It's not. I'm not sure how fast that could go really fast if you know, if things go crazy there. So
Good.
all right, so I'm gonna remove it for now. I'll get rid of it. Let's take care of that one out. Fuel cell, I don't like trading this one, guys. Has a nice drop today. It is on short selling restriction. If you like it, you keep it on there on your list. LU's daily is horrible. Recent IPO, so let's remove that one. SB does have some potential. I love this daily. I like the pre-market action. We'll keep a close eye on that one. BNTX, you know what? I know I'm not going to trade this, and I know I'm not going to trade PFE with the type of day that we're having today on our main list. And I'm going to keep McDonald's here just for fun. MCD this morning, as Peter mentioned. So, all right, great list, guys. Let's take a look at our moderators. Well, Peter, we'll start with you. What are you watching this morning?
Well, two, I'll just mention second day plays because people have been mentioning them as well in the room. So Zoom, as we know, had a big down day yesterday. I'm not sure what to expect of it today. There's not a lot of, I'm surprised at how little volume there is pre-market, but it's down below 400. So that I'll just keep on sort of a secondary list just in case something moves. And one that people are mentioning is BlackBerry. BlackBerry was surprisingly, like it moved surprisingly well yesterday. Normally it's not a good trader, but there was good trade opportunity, especially if you went short early. You could have just ridden that thing down all day. So there might be another good day on it. I expect an inside day on this. If you just look at the way it's setting up, it's right in the middle of that candle that we had for yesterday's price action. So we'll see what happens, but there might be something out of it. For my list, Carlos, to what you were asking, no IPOs for today. So as I posted, usually we're looking for IPOs. There are some SPACs, some acquisition companies, but I don't follow those, so nothing of note. And then my prime list is got to be AMD. It actually just a few minutes ago made a try for an all-time high, got within 8 cents before pulling back. So that's at the top of my list, as you would expect. And then I also have PLTR and Workhorse we already talked about, PFE, Zoom, and Space, all ones we've discussed.
All right, yeah, pretty nice list there, guys. Let's take a look at what everybody else is watching. Starting with John, so he's looking at Zoom and Facebook. Thor has Neo, XPEF, and AMD and MU. Eamon likes Baba today. Ride, CAAS. I think that one has been active for a couple of days as well. Secondary, PFE, FSLR. FSR, excuse me, a CRM and INO as well on his list. Is INO or Neo? Is INO active today? Yeah, might be doing a little something.
I don't see much going on with it, but maybe.
Yeah. Mike has BA, Facebook, and on his list, Peter, we talked about your list already, and Brian has CRM, Neo, LIF, PLTR, ABUS, and NAOV for fun. So that's Brian's list. Tiffany has PLTR, Neo, secondary Workhorse, and Jared has PLTR, Tesla, and Apple. Let's take a look at Apple. I saw a lot of people throwing that out after we finished our list. So let's take a look if Apple is doing anything fun here. Their daily is interesting. Had a bit of a breakout, gapping down this morning slightly, you know. But again, it's just not a whole lot. The daily looks good, but it's going to need a lot to try to break out of this one way or the other. So, all right, that is what we have, folks. Anything else that we're missing, Peter? I think that
there's a ton of stuff to look at. So yeah, you shouldn't lack for opportunities. I think the challenge will be focusing today. So try not to let yourself get distracted. Pick a couple of stocks and then just stick with them. Because if you start, just jump into the next thing, you get the butterfly syndrome, right? You start chasing butterflies in the field and you never catch any good moves. So focus in and you should have a good day.
And the worst part about that is you jump from one to the next, and the one that you were in actually ends up working out. I cannot tell you how many times that has happened to me in the past. So stick to what you have on there and focus in. So guys, take care, trade safe. Thank you so much for watching us on YouTube. We appreciate you. We know you have options, and we appreciate that you're hanging out with us this morning. Make sure you hit that thumbs up. It doesn't cost you anything. I guarantee you will not be charged, but we will really, really appreciate it. So take care, guys. Have fun, and we'll see you tomorrow at 8:30.
Thanks, everybody.